it was still there. Nobody has stolen it. Oh, okay. Um, do you remember still the fairy tales? I'm quite sure that some of you are not so old that you are not remember the fairy tales, the stories about the witches, fairies, young handsome prince, and beautiful princess, as many of you there in the audience, even I don't see you because the lights are so bright. This is one of my favorite. And it's also very famous in Finland because it's Sakristopelius' fairy tale Perch and the Star. And it's quite a nice story about, or nice story, maybe it's a story about two young kids who were captured living in abroad from Finland, and they hope to come back to home. And the only thing actually what those two kids remember their old home was that there was perch in the yard, and in the evening stars shine through the leaves of the perch. They were living quite good in the, how would I say, in abroad, but anyway, they hope to come back in Finland, and then they start a very long journey back home. They cross the rivers, they climb over the mountains, they be in the forest, and there was the small birds who were guidance, who were guides in their trip back home. And after many years, one evening, they coming near the old grey house, and they see the birch, and they see the evening star shining through the leaves, and they know they are back home. Finally, they found their direction, their destination, their home, and I think many of Finnish people, our school is a little bit like home. Something what we are looking for, something which gives us a direction, but not the one direction, many directions. When I'm telling the people abroad about the Finnish education, I many times get the feeling that I'm telling the fairy tales for them. First, they are really amazed. They look at me, oh my God, that kind of business is anywhere in the world. And then after a couple of minutes, I see that they are looking at me a little bit curious way. They were not believe what I was saying. And then there's one very brave one who raised the hand and said, excuse me, but this is not true story. But nowadays it's quite good because we had a lot of, how would I say, true believers in every audience in abroad because somebody has visited in Finland, so they know something about the Finnish education. So actually what happens is that audience start to discuss with each other, and they arguing, and then true believers say, yes, Mr. Pokka is speaking the truth, I have seen it in my own eyes. And when I listen to the audience, I don't understand anything what they are talking about because I don't know that kind of system what they are telling for, because they also telling the fairy tales for me. That's a very complexity of the education that sometimes it's really difficult to say what we are doing and why we are doing. And I try to now make it very simple to tell you what is the flexible pathways in the Finnish education. So okay, let's take the pathway. As a fairy tales, I think that many of us has the own pathway in our mind. That our favorite one, somewhere as this one, deep in the forest, is the shortcut between two places. It's a narrow, it's a little bit wider, it's a something which is not, how would I say, planned very carefully, but it's more practical and it makes life easier. And I think one of the key things about when we discuss about the Finnish education is that I think we're running very practical and very simple school many ways. And keep it simple, keep it practical is one of the key things if you think about it, what is effective school life. And what is flexibility? Sometimes people think about it as something that there's a lot of freedom. Okay, there's a freedom inside, But flexibility also means the structure. There must be good planning, good maintain, that somebody can use the school to make his own ideas to coming bigger, better, and find their direction. And I also think about it that it's very important that if you look how good teachers we have in the Finnish schools. Normally we say that, okay, we have the universities who give us the good teachers. But I said maybe the school culture itself is something what gives us the best teachers in the world. Because they have been in the same very flexible school where they have the possibilities find their own direction. They have the possibilities make their dreams come true. So why not come back to same place as a teacher, which gives you so much opportunity as a student? And I think that's something what we maybe have to look much more carefully when we discuss about the level or high level of the Finnish education. It's not just that, how would I say, our nation somehow respect teachers' profession very well. I think that the teachers respect the school so much that they like to make also the next generation same flexible paths as they have had. This is the Finnish school life. Very simple one. Very practical one. I think this is made in China, but anyway, it's a Finnish school. Nowadays, everything made in China. Maybe if I make the presentation of the Finnish social and healthcare renew session, I will bring much more complicated item, but this is school life and it's a simple, and I like to keep it simple. And how it symbolized the school, I explain you using this little pot. You know, the pot is very practical. You can put it there, soil, some seeds, plants, whatever, and then you put water, and then it's grow, and it's give you the beautiful flower or beautiful plant, whatever. And you know that it's a very symbolic using the plant as a symbolize the school life, because maybe we are the one who take care of the plants. So actually, if you think about a Finnish school, a lot of things happens before we go to school life. I mean, the kindergarten, they give a lot of information for the primary schools, and the kindergarten teachers actually give the first ideas for the kids about what happens in the education life. And they changed a lot of material between the kindergarten and the primary schools. So when the kids start the primary school, actually the school knows a lot about his or her individual learning paths or methods. Then in primary, let's say it's this part of the life. So in primary school, I think about it, what is most important is that they individualized learning very much there. So special education is one of the, I think, best part of the Finnish school life. And every class we have a lot of kids who have their own small or bigger special education plan, what they follow, and that gives them a lot of opportunities in their school life when they continue at the higher level. So primary school is doing marvelous job keeping everybody in the education business, in learning business, and how would I say, guarantee that there will be opportunities when you continue studies. When you come in the lower section, lower education, let's say lower secondary school, as they say in UK, so I think that we are somewhere here in the middle. You know, the teenagers, very, how would I say, riskful part of the life, and very important part of the life, because it's something where you need the teachers even more than sometimes in primary. So there come in more of options. So in lower secondary school, you don't think yet what I will do in the future, but maybe you have some kind of ideas that, okay, I will continue my studies maybe in the general upper secondary or vocational school. So maybe I make some options here. And all the same time, we have also the special education who help the learners to learn and continue their life and somehow solve the problems that what everybody almost have in the age between 13 and 16. And then you're coming in the upper general school, the school what I was leading. So then you have a lot of options. I have the I have the 630 students in my school, and everybody has own little special program. Everybody is follow their own curriculum, and it is actually quite amazed if you think about it that we plan every year all of those students a little bit different program, and what it needs a lot of teachers. It needs a lot of study counseling. It needs a lot of work with the principals, of course, also. But I think it also needs the schoolmates, the fellow students, who somebody share the path with one individual. So I think that when we think about it, this whole structure, we see a lot of the guidance, a lot of teachers, professionalism, and that kind of idea that individual can make the change, can make one path, make the U-turns, follow some paths which not maybe are the best ones, but they are important, that one person. I have actually two stories about my students. The one is the girl named Eva, or we called her Eva because her name is Eva. So no problem for that. I hope that Eva don't mind that I used her name, but anyway, she knows that I will tell this story, so I have asked her permission. So Eva was our former student, and in the second year, it was spring, somehow she got the idea that she wanted to be the teacher of the mathematics. And so far, she didn't have make any that kind of studies, and she was the middle of the matriculation, and then he changed her plan totally. I'm quite sure that most of the school systems in the world have raised the hand up and said, no, that's not possible. But I think that what the study counselors and especially one of our math teachers, they encourage the girl to make the new plan. She don't make that kind of U-turn, but it was almost that. And then he take the 1 year more, the 4th year, and make the long-term mathematics, make that excellent mark in the matriculation, and then she find her place in the university to becoming the math teacher. But the story continue now in her adulthood, what happened. So now he has also changed the plan, and now he like to come in the musician. So that's the story. It will not end yet, but it has been quite a nice story. Yesterday I have a couple of my students in my office, and they like to plan the course of their own, and we plan together. And next year we will have that kind of active citizenship course planned our students. So I think that that's also part of that flexibility, that it's not only our game, it's a game where also the students take the very, very big part to make the school successful. So the Finnish school is not the individual. Or it is an individual, but I think there's a lot of strong social things inside there. So that's why I think this song, what is the song from the football club Liverpool fans, the boys from the COP, singing this every Saturday evening, if the match in the home, and in the Saturday evening in the pub, if the match is somewhere out of the Liverpool. So, because you don't have been saying anything yet, I like that we sing all this song till the end of this first session. It's very easy one. You never walk alone. It could be the song of the Finnish education. And it's called like this. walk on, with the hope in your heart, and you never walk alone, you never walk alone. And then, all together, walk on, hope in your heart, and you never walk alone, you never walk alone. Thank you. School needs good teachers, students, and guardian angels. Thank you very much.